You ever wake up at 6 in the morning, standing barefoot in your boxers, out on the porch, breathing in that cold pine air, and then out of nowhere, a woman in head to toe Lululemon, clutching a Stanley Cup like it's a trophy, comes barreling up your private road in a white G Wagon? No, just me. All right then, buckle up. She's already live streaming on TikTok, hair perfectly coiffed for the apocalypse when she screeches at me. You're illegally squatting on HOA land. 17 pages of bylaws in one hand, phone in the other. Sheriff's number ready on speed dial. Honestly, her SUV's exhaust alone could kill a small forest, but she's yelling at me for environmental violations. Meanwhile, my generator's humming out back off grid peaceful, totally unbothered. I just sip my coffee. An hour later, I give the official call. This is Sheriff's Deputy Williams. We've had complaints about illegal structures. You need to vacate immediately or face arrest. I'm looking out over my land, my entire 2,400-acre valley. Every pine tree, every stream, every single HO. A lot, including her $1 million mortgage. I tell the deputy, calm as you please, hey, tell her to check her deed. It's in my name. And by the way, the bank calls me sir. There's a moment of silence on the other end. You could almost hear him scratching his head. So what would you do if some showa Karen tried to evict you from land you secretly owned? Go ahead. Think about that while I walk you through how we got here. My name's Marcus Reed. 15 years ago, I did the one thing every burned out tech exec dreams of. I vanished into the mountains. No notifications except for the elk who wander into the yard. I was 52, just cashed out of my cybersecurity startup, ready for silence. I wanted a place Delilah Hartwell types couldn't follow me. Yeah, well, I learned quick hope is not a strategy. Back in 2009, I stood in a Colorado courthouse that smelled like old coffee and failed dreams. The auctioneer's voice bounced off marble. 2,400 acres mineral rights included starting bid $500,000. I raised my paddle. Not one person blinked. The economy was shot. People were terrified. 800 grand later, I walked out with the whole valley. That deed included everything: mineral rights, water rights, timber rights, pretty much everything except the air you breathe. And, trust me, I was working on that too. I built my cabin from hand-hewn timber, smells like Christmas every morning when the sun's right. River stones under my bare feet. Nothing fancy, just enough to make the realtors cry about property values. My fireplace pops like popcorn every winter night. Sometimes the wind whistles through a gap I left on purpose just for character. No HOA, no neighbors, no meetings about shrub heights. It was paradise. For 14 and a half years. And then came Delilah. 58 fresh from California G-Wagon, driven like she's storming the Alps. She bought herself a luxury development lot, 1 acre, 400 grand, practically right at the edge of my valley. Bet her realtor was high-fiving himself all the way to Cabo. Within a week, she printed up business cards. Whispering Creek Homeowners Association president. I swear the gall on this woman. She dragged 3 other city refugees into her orbit, all scared out of their minds by her legal threats. Her first HOA meeting held in the abandoned ranger station. There's decades of mouse droppings, but none of it could mask her ambition. We need community standards, she announced. Property values require aesthetic consistency. I wasn't invited, shocker. She hadn't even figured out I existed yet. The first time she met me, she trespassed 3 miles up my private road and started photographing my cabin like it was a crime scene. These structures violate county codes and our community standards. She barked, snapping photos while I was splitting firewood. I told her, ma'am, there's no HOA here. This is private property. Didn't faze her. She whipped out a folder thicker than a Bible. I have documentation proving otherwise. You'll be hearing from authorities. Then, peeled out of my driveway gravel spraying. That's when the real circus began. County inspector shows up, someone filed complaints about illegal sewage. State environmental agency gets anonymous tips about watershed contamination. My photos plastered all over her social media. Illegal squatter destroying pristine wilderness. Local paper ran her story, didn't bother to call me. Mystery man's cabin threatens ecosystem. Some journalist must have graduated from the Delilah School of Due Diligence. Now look, I could have ended all this with one call, flashed my deed survey maps, mineral rights, could have had her arrested faster than she could say community standards. But I wanted to see how far she'd push. Nobody brings that much heat over mailbox rules. I figured she was after something big. I let her think she'd found easy prey while I dug for her real angle. Sometimes the best mousetrap is the one that lets the mouse think it's winning. Plus, after 15 years of peace and quiet, I was almost bored. 2 weeks after her grand debut, Delilah had turned into a full-blown neighborhood warlord. Formed the Whispering Creek Environmental Protection Committee, because nothing says legitimate like slapping environmental on your power grab. First recruit Bradford Stevens, a city lawyer who'd bought a lot on a midlife crisis. I watched her corner him at the coffee shop, voice slicing through espresso steam like a bandsaw. Join or lose your investment, she told him, shoving papers across a table sticky with syrup. He signed faster than foreclosure. Next up, Vera Clayton, retired, judge ambushed in the grocery store between kale and overpriced quinoa. We need judicial expertise, Delilah purred. What squatter? Vera asked. The illegal cabin destroying our watershed. I'd seen this tactic in boardrooms make someone feel dumb for questioning you, so they just go along. Within a week, she'd assembled her all-star team, scheduled a press conference on the courthouse steps, same marble, where I bought the valley for pocket change. We are filing suit against the illegal occupant destroying Whispering Creek, she announced to 2 board reporters and one homeless guy trying to get warm. Her nuke. A 1987 HOA. Covenant, complete with county letterhead and fake notary stamps. Looked more official than my birth certificate. Here's the kicker: I'd spent that morning at the county records office under government lighting, so bad it made you question every life decision. 43 years of documents, no HOA, no covenant. Nothing but an eagle nest clause I'd followed religiously. Her covenant, pure fiction. But the best part, during Bradford's deposition, he accidentally let it slip. They needed my 5 acres to develop the back lots. The county road stops at my gate. Everything past that is private. Without my land, their million-dollar dreams are just expensive camping trips. So I played dumb. Let them think their paperwork was working. Meanwhile, I hired Patricia Gonzalez, sharpest real estate lawyer in the county. Told her I owned 5 acres, left out the other 2,395. She spotted the fakes in minutes. The notary's wrong county seals are fake, and these filing numbers don't exist. We agreed, let them build their house of cards higher. Delilah kept celebrating. Victory parties at the ranger station, wine glasses, clinking laughter, echoing off pines older than her ambitions. That mountain hermit won't know what hit him, she boasted. I just sipped my coffee smiling, because patience is one thing you learn living out here. 3 weeks later, Delilah weaponized the thing Americans fear most: bad environmental press. Denver Environmental Alliance. Channel 7 News. Suddenly, I'm the villain in a story about illegal sewage and clear-cutting endangered trees. Camera crews swarm my cabin perfume and cologne thick enough to taste. By dinner, social media is calling for my head. Keyboard warriors from suburbia demanding my arrest. Even Molly's coffee shop turns on me, no tables, for the guy who's been there 15 years. But while Delilah ran her media circus, I was building my own network. Enter Tommy Wren, private investigator. We met at a truck stop, diner, coffee, like motor oil, bacon grease, slick as diesel. Tommy laid it all out. Delilah's a repeat offender. Utah, Oregon, Arizona. She's terrorized ranchers, forced widows to sell cheap, cooked up fake environmental violations. Same playbook every time. And here's the twist: she owed over $200,000 in civil judgments. She wasn't just greedy, she was desperate. Then, Bradford Stevens knocks on my door, the city lawyer now pale as a ghost. I think we're all in serious legal jeopardy, he whispers. He's found property records, wire transfers, fake covenants, nothing adds up. Offers to testify if I can prove fraud. Now he realizes he joined environmental protection and found organized crime. That same afternoon, Delilah files for emergency injunction claims. I'm destroying endangered species habitat. Judge Vera Clayton, her grocery store recruit, schedules the hearing. I watch Delilah celebrating, probably already planning how to spend my land. She has no idea she's about to face the guy who owns every tree she claims to protect. Court day. The place reeks of wood polish and old corruption. Judge Clayton might as well be wearing a Team Delilah jersey. Patricia opens with, my clients maintained this property for 15 years. No complaints. Judge doesn't care. Delilah takes the stand like she's accepting an Oscar. Earth tone sweater, minimal makeup. Perfect picture of concern. Her photos are from a construction site 20 miles south. Bulldozer oil stains, not my generator. Patricia objects. Clayton swats her down every time. Delilah ramps up the drama. Pristine wilderness systematically destroyed by one selfish individual. The irony: could crush a pickup truck. She planned to clear-cut 500 acres for a luxury resort. But she's good, I'll give her that. So good, I almost believed I was guilty. Judge rules against me. 30 days to vacate or else. No construction, no access. Basically a death sentence by winter. Outside protesters cheer, never seen my property, but they've got signs and hashtags. Delilah basks in the spotlight. This proves environmental protection trumps illegal occupation, she tells the cameras. Meanwhile, she's texting her developer buddy about timelines I know, because Tommy recorded the call. Sometimes the dumbest crooks make the best evidence. That night, Channel 9 films me at sunset. I play the broken hermit, let my voice crack. 15 years of peace, and suddenly I'm public enemy number one. My cabin's in the background, the same wilderness Delilah's planning to destroy. The Peace Airs paints me as environmental overreach's latest victim. Social media flips hashtag Save the Hermit trending next to hashtag Whispering Creek. Americans love an underdog. Behind the scenes, Tommy's documenting the final pieces. Rex Vaughn. Vaughn, Delilah's investor, has already locked in financing for a luxury resort, 200 units golf course helipad. The only thing stopping them, my 5 acres. Environmental protection was just their crowbar. The next morning, I go to the bank vault I'd ignored for 15 years. Inside the original 1952 land grant, my grandfather's signature bold as the Rockies. It's all there: deed survey maps, even a geological survey showing copper, silver, and rare earths under my worthless cabin. But that's not the real treasure. There's a letter. Keep it wild. The land doesn't belong to us. We belong to it. My granddad paid 12 grand for this place during the uranium rush. He preserved it instead of mining. Passed it to me with one rule: protect the community, honor the mountains. I take all this to Patricia. She nearly faints. Marcus, you own everything. Every tree, every stream, every acre. That means every lot sale, every HOA meeting, every development plan. They're all illegal. We could have ended this ages ago, but now we have confessions, recorded crimes. Delilah's not facing eviction. She's facing decades in federal prison. We put together a team that'd make any prosecutor drool. FBIDA Sheriff Tommy. Their whole scam's documented. Audio, video, the works. Friday night's town council meeting was supposed to be my public defeat. Instead, it was opening night for the biggest land fraud case Colorado's ever seen. That morning, Delilah shows up at my place with Rex, their notary, and witnesses convoy like a royal invasion. Surrender papers ready. $50,000 for your little property, she sneers. More than you deserve. She drops the mask completely. The workshop fire. Just a preview. They confess to arson fraud, the whole racket, right into the FBI's recording gear. I smile. Fascinating you'd say that because you just confessed to federal racketeering on equipment recording every word. Silence. Not even the wind dared move. Then, agents appear, sheriff's garbage sirens wailing. As Delilah's being cuffed, I tell her I own this whole valley. Always have. Her scream echoes across every acre. Town meeting that night, standing room only. Everyone's expecting to watch me get roasted. Instead, Agent Martinez steps up. We've arrested Delilah Rex and Judge Clayton for racketeering. Every property sale, every document fraudulent, every environmental claim manufactured to steal private land. People start checking their phones, realizing they've been had. The woman they thought was an environmental hero. She was planning to pave paradise. Dr. Vasquez from the Environmental Council nearly melts the mic. We were conned into funding the very disaster we tried to stop. I step up. Here's the plan. 1,000 acres go to permanent federal conservation. 400 acres become an environmental education center. Scholarships for local students. Jobs for the community. At first, just one person claps, then the whole room erupts. 6 months later, Delilah gets 18 years, Rex 12, Judge Vera 15, and disbarred for life. My valley heals. The education center goes up school buses, laughter echoing off the mountains, kids learning how to actually protect the wild. Tommy runs the center now. Bradford writes laws to stop future HOAs from terrorizing families. Local businesses, once hostile, now thrive on real ecotourism. Mornings, I visit my grandfather's grave, tell him the land's safe. Mission accomplished. Granddad, we even inspired other landowners to stand up for themselves. And now, now it's your turn. Ever had an HOA nightmare? Got a story about power gone mad, or a scam that almost took you down? Drop your stories below. Let's make sure no more mountain folk, or city folk, for that matter, get steamrolled by fake authority again. So, what do you think? When does protecting the environment cross into pure greed? Where's the line between justice and revenge? I'd love to hear your take. Drop a comment, share your story. Because out here, some of us don't just talk about protecting the land, we actually do it.